Hello and welcome to this factoring of a complex quadratic expression. I'm calling it complex because the number in front of x squared, this number here, is something different than 1. If we have a 1 in this position in front of x squared, these questions are pretty easy. These expressions are pretty easy to find factors for, but when we put a number other than 1 in front of the x squared, it makes it a little bit more complicated. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to break this question up into a number of steps. And the first step we're going to do is we're going to multiply the 6 by the 1. Now don't worry about the minus yet. Okay, we'll worry about the minus later on. But right now we're just going to go 6 times 1, and the answer to that is 6. Okay. Now the second step is to find factors of whatever this answer was. Okay, so we're going to find factors of 6. Now we're choosing 6 because it was the product of these two, not because it started with a 6. That's a coincidence. We're choosing to find the factors of 6 because 6 is the product of these two. So the factors of 6 are 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. Okay, so we've done the first couple of steps. The next thing to do is to choose a pair of factors that subtract to give 1, because we have a 1 in the middle here. Okay, there's a hidden 1 in the middle, so we want to get that 1, and we want to get it using subtraction. So the last sign here tells us we're going to need to subtract the factors. Okay, so which pair can we subtract to get the 1 that's in the middle? Okay, this is the target here. The middle number is the target, not the number in the end. The middle number is the target. So we want to subtract, because it ended in a minus, to get 1. And that would be 2 and 3. If we use those, we'll get 2 and 3. So now what we do is we go back, and if anything we seem to make the problem a little bit more complicated, because we're going to go from 3 pieces to 4 pieces. And what we'll do is we'll keep the 6x squared. Okay, we're going to keep the 6x squared, and we keep the minus 1 at the end. Okay, so we keep that, but we're going to replace this. We always replace the middle term, and it's always the middle one that gets replaced. We're going to replace it with 3x and 2x. So it was negative 1x. We're going to replace it with 3x and 2x. Okay, now I didn't put signs in front of them yet. But what we'll do is we'll look here and we'll see the sign in front of this middle number was negative. We have to keep that sign along with the bigger of our new numbers. Okay, so that's going to mean that that is minus 3x. The sign on the end was a minus, and that means these two are going to be different. Okay, these two signs have got to be different. If the sign on the end is minus, these two signs have got to be different. So this time we're going to need a plus there. And just check by looking at this. Is minus 3x plus 2x the same as negative 1x? And it is. Negative 3x plus 2x is minus 1x. So we know that they're the correct factors for us. Okay, now we have 4 parts. 6x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 1. Let's move to grouping. Okay, so now we're going to go factoring by grouping. Okay, so let's do this, and if we remember grouping, it's a little while since we've done it, but what we do is we split up 6x squared minus 3x, and then we look at 2x minus 1, and we see what's the GCF of each of these parts here. Okay, well, just going to scroll up a little bit so we have a little bit more room, because we're really sort of looking at a new question at this moment. So 6x squared minus 3x. what we did before was we found the factors of 6, and that would be 1 times 6 and 2 times 3, and the factors of 3 are just 1 times 3. So the GCF here of these numbers is 3. Okay. Now, part B was to pick out the common letter. Which in this case is x. There was an x squared in the first term and an x in the second term. So the common letter here is x. We'll put these two pieces together. Okay, we'll put these two pieces together, and that gives us the GCF of the whole thing, of the whole expression, is 3x. Now if you remember what comes next, there's a little bit of division involved. So we have 6x squared and minus 3x, and we're going to divide them by the GCF. So we're going to divide them both by 3x. Now 6x squared divided by 3x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. X squared divided by x. Same letter, so subtract the powers. 2 there, 1 there. 2 take away 1 is 1, so it's x to the power of 1 or just 2x. Minus, now here, 3x on top and 3x on bottom. Everything cancels, and very importantly, that doesn't mean it disappears. It means you have to write down a 1, because 3x divided by 3x is 1. 3x goes into 3x one time. Okay, and almost finally I guess for this part of it, we put the GCF on the outside and 2x minus 1 on the inside. Okay, so that's the factors for our first group, 6x squared minus 3x. If we do it here, I wouldn't normally do it twice, but this one's a little bit more interesting possibly, so let's try this one as well. Here are the factors of 2, so now we're trying to find the factors of 2x minus 1. The factors of 2, I'll go a little bit quickly, are 1 times 2. The factors of 1 are just 1 times 1. So the GCF in this case is simply 1, and the GCF of the numbers. Okay, so the second part of this is to find a common letter, but there is no common letter. Okay, there is no common variable here. I'm going to use letter just to simplify this for you. Variable, of course, is the right term, but there is no common letter, no common variable. There's an x here, but there's no variable at all there. So the entire GCF for this pair is simply 1. Okay, just the 1 that came out of the numbers, because there's no letter involved here. So what we do is, once you find the GCF, the next step, we're down to step D, and that's the division step. So we have 2x and minus 1 divided by 1. Okay, well, anything divided by 1 is just unchanged, so that's 2x, that's minus 1. And then we'll put that finally together with a 1 on the outside and a 2x minus 1 on the inside, because the GCF was 1, that's why we have 1 on the outside, 2x minus 1 on the inside. The good news is that these two are the same as one another. Okay, the good news is that these two are the same as one another. So what we do, the way we always finish off grouping, is we put the inside factors together. So that's 2x minus 1. We write those out one more time, and then put the outside factors in a parentheses beside it. 3x, and this is going to be plus 1. Don't forget to put the sign there in front of that. So this is what we're guessing the factors are. Guessing is not the right word, of course. This is the work that we've done. Okay, so the factors are 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 1. Okay, well, I guess what I'm going to do now, and I guess if you're confident that you know and you can follow this method, well, I'll tell you what to do. I'm just going to check this. I'm going to use FOIL, or you can use distribution to check that this, when we multiply it out, gives us our original expression. Because after all, that's what factors are for. We're trying to find out what pair of items can be multiplied together to give the original expression. So now this is just checking. Okay, this is just checking. It's not new work. It's just checking our answer. So 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 1. And if we use FOIL on that, okay, we'd have 2x by 3x, 2x times plus 1. The insides would be negative 1 times 3x, and the last place in each is negative 1 and plus 1. And I always use the signs, and I'd encourage you to use the signs as well. So 2x by 3x is 6x squared, 2x by 1 is plus 2x, minus 1 by 3x is minus 3x, minus 1 by plus 1 is minus 1. These two in the middle are like terms, so we can combine those, and we get 6x squared. 2x minus 3x is minus x, minus 1x or minus x, minus 1. Now, let's put a ring around that, because that, we have to check that that's what we started off with. 6x squared minus x minus 1. And if we look up here, 6x squared minus x minus 1. So we have confirmation that we found the correct factors. Okay? So these are the factors. This is the answer. That's right. This is the answer here. Okay? The last part of that is just confirming our answer, but this is what we want. This is the answer here. 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 1. Now this has been a long video. Hopefully the next few won't be just as long, but thank you for sticking it through.